historically, you can see a lot of the fireworks rise above the buildings, which is actually a really cool view. You'd prefer them on the Hudson River. You see a much better view, but that when they do rise above the city and you have the city right there and you have the fireworks in the background, it's pretty cool. Additionally, we have Jersey City's fireworks. They do a huge display every year. They'll be off to our right. So regardless of where fireworks are placed, we'll be able to see it. It's a huge 5-acre plot of land. It's a really, really cool thing. And again, for those folks not local, Pier A, there is nothing in between you and New York City, just the Hudson River. So you have a view, most times when you talk to folks about having a view of the city, they usually give you a specific portion of the city they have an unimpeded view of because there's just so much building around here, right? So we have Midtown. We can see unimpeded and we can see downtown. You never really, there are a few places, and usually it has to be on the waterfront, where you have an unimpeded view of all of Manhattan, which Pier A does. So it's a unique place in that respect. And then we just have obviously so much that's going to happen that's going to be exciting. But let me take you back to last July 4th. I don't remember exactly when it was announced, but let's say a month out, which is very, very quick. Let's say a month out, New York City decides to announce that they will be putting New York City, Macy's decides to announce that they will be putting the fireworks on the Hudson River, which they typically do it in the East River because on the other side, it's Manhattan, because they're thought of as New York City fireworks. So it's Manhattan, and then on the other side, it's Brooklyn and Queens. So all, a bunch of boroughs. Staten Island's too far away probably, but it's a bunch of boroughs, right, that of all New York City folks. On our side, obviously, it's Manhattan, and then you got Jersey. So it's not all New York City. So that's why I feel as though it's oftentimes on the East River, but every now and again they do it in the Hudson. And then this year, so they did it in the Hudson, or this past year they did it in the Hudson, and they announced it very, very short turnaround time to July 4th, which is not really what you're looking for. I go to the city and say, hey, listen, this is awesome. Obviously great for the city. It's going to draw a lot of people to Hoboken. Let me put like a beer garden on the city on the walkway there, just for people to be able to have a drink and watch the fireworks. Nothing crazy. We're not trying to throw a rave here. Just people to have a drink while they're watching the fireworks. He said, unfortunately, it was just too quick of a turnaround. There was no way they could prepare. They were already having issues trying to prepare for no event and just the amount of people that would be coming to the city, let alone all of a sudden something happening and people not being able to prepare properly, all of that. So it was a lot, right? It was just too much. What they said, though, was, hey, listen, how about we do this instead? We've wanted to do something for July 4th. The people of Hoboken have wanted to do something for July 4th. How about next year we do something? And perhaps it's on Pier A, where you can see the Jersey City fireworks regardless of where the firework display is. So perhaps you can see if you can make something that the city would be open to on Pier A, and we might be able to throw a much larger event that we can prepare for and properly staff the police department and the fire department and all that stuff and kind of go from there. I obviously took that and run. I was like, listen, it wasn't a definite that we would get it. It was, hey, you still got to pitch us, make sure that we like it, make sure that public safety's in mind. Like, it's still got to be the right thought and got to be the right idea. But if I could pull this off, this went from a one-time beer garden last minute to a possibly recurring event within the city because the city was open to doing something on July 4th and something that could be fun. Much better idea for me. So fast forward now to January, February. Obviously, you got to put in a permit. There's a lot of red tape, as they say, that you have to go through in order to get one of these types of events on. And we were getting through the red tape, and it can be quite extensive. It still is extensive, honestly. There's a lot that you have to do to make not only just the administration happy, but all the different department heads. All of them have something that they need in order to make sure that this runs smoothly, and all of them have then A, B, and C under that thing. It's a lot to do. But again, we think it's worth it. So that's how we got the event kind of completed. It started all the way last year, more than a year ago at this point. It started the prep and the plan and getting ready and making sure the place looks good, making sure we have the right idea in mind, all of that. So fast forward now, and we have it. So let me again break it down quite quickly. Again, just for those folks at home, for explaining Pier A. The stage is going to be, not right up against, but very close to the end of the pier, so that while you're watching the fireworks, you have the city background and any fireworks behind the stage. Really cool view. I actually have a thought in mind that I want a shot perhaps a drone shot of the band playing and fireworks in the city in the background. That could be a really cool shot that I could really sell well down to advertising dollars and marketing teams and stuff like that for next year's event. But that's a whole other thing. So the stage is all the way in the back. Off to the right is where the beer garden will be, and it will be an extensive beer garden. Something that we've done events here in the past, not at Pier A, but on the water. And one complaint that I got quite a bit, TiVo, was that dads or moms weren't able to take their drink and go and hang out with their family. It's not a rowdy crowd, and that's what we're going for. Actually, I think somebody in the TikTok will discuss. Somebody actually said, let's throw a rave. And I was like, no, that's not. I would throw a rave if it's exactly the thing that, if I never wanted to do this again, because the city would never allow it again. You'd be like, and I wouldn't be allowed to do anything again because it would not be what the city wants. Nor do I think we should be throwing raves in Hoboken. So it's a family-friendly event. So most families just will come and they'll grab a beer and they're like, okay, well, I guess I'm not allowed to go back to my family with this drink. And I was like, no. And you get some of the dads that make the jokes like, thank God. But you get most of the times it's like, oh, okay, well, I would have liked to do that. So, they're just having a beer or two. They're not getting, that's nothing, no one's getting crazy here. So we made the beer garden quite extensive. This way, at the very least, off to the side in some of the places where they'll be kid friendly, you have like the folks that can hang around and they don't have to be nowhere near their family, which a lot of these other events, it's like, you have the beer gardens on one end, everything else is on the other end. So if you're having a drink, you can't be anywhere near your family. So that's not the case in this capacity. But state ABC and local ABC mandate that it's still got to be fenced in. So you could be close to your family, but you still kind of have to be fenced in somewhere else. On either side of the beer garden, on the side close to the stage, is going to be like a little bit of VIP area, for media and all this other jazz. And then on the other side is going to be like a lifestyle deck that's going to be pretty cool that I think one of the beer companies is going to do. So that'll be fun. On the left side, that's the right side of the stage. On the left side of the stage are going to be all the vendors. Well, there's this a little walkway, and we're calling it Vendor Alley. And it's just going to be a bunch of vendors, things that you can do for fun. There'll be jewelry, there'll be face painting, there's bouncy houses, there's a bunch of different stuff in there. It's supposed to keep you engaged, keep you doing something, because again, this event, and this actually should have mentioned this in the beginning, this event starts at 12 noon and goes to 11 p.m. at night. It is an all-day affair, especially on a holiday like July 4th where everybody takes off, or actually it's a national holiday, everybody is off. We expect a large crowd, and we expect it early. We expect it throughout the day. We don't actually expect, and we'll get into the crowd a little bit, I don't actually expect, 100,000 people at once. I expect about 100,000 people throughout the day that will come and enjoy the place. But